Hey everybody, welcome back. Um, Today's just a little quick video. Pretty busy times for me right now, so I haven't got to post as much as I was hoping. Um, what I want to do today is just a quick debrief from the Cabin Fever Challenge, and also just to give some updates on what you'll be seeing on the channel over the next couple months. I've got a lot of stuff that is upcoming, so it should be a pretty fun summer. Um, So I guess before I get into the Cabin Fever Challenge stuff, let me tell everyone what's going on for new content. Um, I recently, well, semi-recently, it's probably been about 2 months now. I put in and ordered a new vehicle. My truck is getting kind of beat up, so it was time to replace it. I'll be doing a fair amount of content with that. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but it should be pretty fun. So that'll be coming. The car's getting delivered sometime after June 20th. Scheduled to be produced June 20th of this year. So um, that'll be kind of cool. I'll talk more about that another day. I also have some firearm projects coming up. I'm going to be doing a build, which was kind of inspired by Ryan over at Oragear. It's nice making a connection with him and some of the other guys by hosting Cabin Fever Challenge. Um, so we'll have a lot going on with that over the next couple months. I'll also do some teacher stuff. I'm running a driver's ed course, so I'll probably upload some stuff related to that as well, and we'll go from there. So obviously, I would always love just give me a like or subscribe on YouTube. Every little bit helps. I'm trying to get to at least 100. That way, I have some more capabilities as far as my upload. So that is much appreciated. If you like the content, please help me out by doing that. Um, and with that, I will move us right into our little debrief from Cabin Fever Challenge. So for 2022, this was my second time competing and my first time as a division leader. Um, I have to say it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Um, the other hosts are fantastic guys. Had some pretty cool conversations and everything behind the scenes. And I'm hoping at some point I'll be able to do some collaborations with them. But as far as the challenge itself, I was really happy to see there were a lot of competitors in there who were really just fantastic, fantastic marksmen. And frankly, I was a little impressed with myself that I scored as well as I did. Um, I never thought that I would place that well, but I don't have any like official formal training like a lot of people do. I've never served in the military. I've never had any of that, so I was pretty surprised to see that I scored that well. But anyway, I guess I'll start right through it. I'm one of the things about the Cabin Fever Challenge that a lot of people, I think, overlook if they haven't competed in it before, is they say, "Oh, it's 4 positions, 20 rounds, reloads. That should be easy. I do that all the time on my range." Uh, what you'll find is the Cabin Fever Challenge is a lot tougher than you think it is, especially if you're not usually competing in professional events or anything like that. Um, while it is a very straightforward competition, it is very challenging. Um, it's not so challenging as to be daunting, but it's an adequate challenge, and it always will be because the person you're really competing against is always yourself. That's the whole spirit of the match, is to every year beat what you did the year before and just get better and better. So the Japanese have the term kaizen, which is basically constant improvement. Always trying to be just a little bit better. It might not always be 100% better. You might not have drastic changes, but it's good to always just be a little bit better than you were before. Always learning, always developing. And that's what Cabin Fever Challenge is about. That's the whole spirit of the match. It's just a friendly competition between people across the globe who have a passion for musketry. So, things I noticed from my personal performance, and things I learned from it, as I did last year, shooting in harsh weather conditions while being timed under stress, and it's physical stress, it's mental stress, it's a good kind of stress, it's the kind of stress that makes you learn and build, but it is quite difficult, especially in the winter, to use firearms, if you're not trained for it, especially. Starting off with the first video I submitted with, for the manual repeaters using that Rossi R92. What I learned is with that rifle, even though I am great at getting hits on target with it, reloads are very slow and very fumbly. And as I mentioned in the video for that, that was a real struggle running that gun on a clock under pressure from time and weather conditions. So while I did score very well, I didn't score as well as I would have liked to, simply because of the fact that that gun is very tough to reload when your fingers are cold. 40. If I had been using 45-70, it might have been a little bit better because they had more to grip onto. But in the conditions I was in, you really lose fine motor control, and it makes it very difficult to do well, or anything even remotely well. So that was what I noticed with that one. I also learned that my hand loads, the ones I was using, I kind of knew had some feeding issues. They weren't quite sized right. Not out of spec, but on the side of the specifications where the Rossi was not having the best time feeding them. The gun was not feeding smoothly as a result, and that I think is also due to the fact that it was so cold that I actually noticed some of the lubricant in the Rossi was starting to gel up a little bit. It wasn't really the lubricant that I had in there was not standing up to the cold as well as it should have. So I switched lubricants as a result. Other than that, I think that run went very well. I was surprised at how well I was able to hit the target and see the target with those buckhorn sights in those conditions, but I have, ever since I bought it, shot that rifle very well. So that's the first entry. The second entry that I wanted to go over was the Mini 14. That one, I don't really know what happened there. My whole being a New Yorker, there are very few semi-automatic firearms that you are allowed to have. That Mini 14 is right at the edge where if I do basically any more modifications to it, other than like lights and lasers and that kind of stuff, that gun would then have to be registered as an assault weapon. So that's why one of the reasons why I chose a Mini 14 is because I could do just that little bit extra due to the fact that it does not have a pistol grip stock or anything like that. No bayonet lug, no muzzle brake or flash hider, any of that kind of stuff, all of which are banned features in New York. If you want to know more about why I'm so restricted, take a look at the New York SAFE Act. There is a website. If you feel like getting yourself depressed, take a look at it. It's pretty ludicrous. But so that's why I did that. I also chose the Mini 14 because I'm a little bit of a rebel, and the competition is dominated by so many ARs and AKs. I wanted to do something a little different. So I shot the Mini very well. I do have a lot of trigger time on that gun. A lot of trigger time. That rifle probably has at least 15,000 rounds through it. And it still operates flawlessly. I figured out that the two malfunctions I had with the rifle, which happened to be the only two malfunctions I've ever had with the rifle, of course. Everything always goes wrong when it's on camera. You ask any other YouTuber, they'll say the same thing. Those two malfunctions, I believe, were a result of a faulty magazine. I checked, that same magazine has feed issues. I think I need to wear it in a little bit. The feed lips are not quite right, and it was causing the round to jam as it was being fed into the chamber. So that was the issue I had there. I did also notice that one or two of the pieces of, one or two of the casings did ricochet off of the scope turret on the right side. Um, while that is annoying, it's not actually causing any issues. So, luck, that's a pretty good save. The biggest struggle on the Mini 14 has been finding optics setups for it because Ruger still refuses to get rid of their proprietary scope rings. I really wish they would do something about that because it's just, at this point, Bill Ruger isn't around anymore. They have no reason to continue with all of this proprietary stuff. Um, it's just a money grab at this point. So, and honestly, I would argue that having those proprietary items on all of the Ruger firearms, I think that's actually hurting their overall sales in general because people can't use the stuff they want to on Ruger firearms as a result. So, Ruger sales team, do a little thinking. Maybe let's move into the 21st century here. The big thing is modularity. Let's get with the program. Um, so, I did pretty well with that. I noticed my groups were a little low. I think that's because I have that scope sighted in for 5.56, but I was shooting 2.23. I was using, what brand was it? I think it was some of the old Remington UMC from right before they closed, which if you look on the forums, it looks like other people were having similar issues to me where they were having very erratic ejection and function with it. The quality on Remington ammunition was not good right before they closed shop. To my understanding, they are in the process of getting back up and running under another owner. I don't remember who bought them, but I think it might have been Federal. Not 100% certain. But hopefully that'll get us going there. So that gun I think is pretty well squared away. I'm going to do a review on that optic another day, but I was pretty happy with it. So moving from there, I did the Division 5 muzzleloader category. That went way better than I thought. My big issue there is I'm just not practiced with that Springfield. It's a really fun rifle to shoot, but it's a real pain to clean that thing. It really is. So I haven't shot it much. I had issues with it for years where I couldn't get the powder to light. Come to find, once I finally got a full cleaning kit that was actually appropriate for it, I got a whatchamacallit, a patch, it's like a little hook for pulling patches that get stuck down there, only to find that basically what had been going wrong for all of these years was that from the factory they had a patch stuck all the way down in the chamber, which was blocking the touch hole, so I could not get proper ignition from my percussion caps. So come to find, 10 years of disuse was all the result of a patch being stuck down the bore. So that is now running reliably, and I'm quite happy with it. I just got to figure out the sights, because the sights on the 1861 Springfield are just absolutely insanely bad. They're really tough to see, and I'm still figuring out point of aim with them. They're almost like a kind of semi-buckhorn, but it's a very low profile, so I don't really know what to do with them yet. I got to do some more practice so I can get shots on target. That being said, I was happy with how I did with it. The cartridges function pretty well, apart from the issues I mentioned in the video, which I already knew about. I think everything went really smoothly on that run. If I hadn't had so much trouble ramming the cartridges in, I think my time would have been a lot better. So we did that. For the 22 long rifle Division 6, I was very happy with my run, but I noticed in that particular one, I think I was trying too much to narrate what I was doing as I was doing it, so I lost probably a good 10 or 15 seconds on that run that I could have made up if I had just kept my mouth shut instead of openly analyzing the problems I was having. So hopefully next year we'll see. I'll get my score up a bit. Score was still pretty freaking good, I would say. I know how to run that bolt action pretty quick. You can especially tell that in the 5 rounds that I did standing. Um, the problem I ran into was that I lost track of my round count, and I just started talking about it instead of continuing shooting. Um, so we'll try again with that one for next year, see what I can do. Um, but overall, what I've noticed the most, and I actually just took a pistol course recently, is I have a very steady hand, I guess. I tend to shoot very tight groups. Um, in another video, I'll talk about the class that I took because I'm working to become a NRA instructor. Um, I shoot very tight groups. The problem I keep finding is I have trouble getting them where I want them to be. Um, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of my glasses or my eyes or what, but um, I never seem to have things going where I put my sights. I don't know why. I can get close, but I need to work on calling my hits and figuring out where my rounds are hitting so that I can adjust my groups. That's my biggest worry as far as the qualification to become an NRA instructor. Is even though I'm more than capable of the qualification exam, which is shooting a target at a given distance. The problem is at that distance, I got to figure out where my impacts are so I can get everything within the group that they want. Because if I have to keep adjusting my group, it increases my overall spread, which is a problem. So I'm going to work on that this summer. Maybe we'll do a couple videos on it as I start to learn some stuff, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so Cabin Fever Challenge, I'm very, very happy with how it went. I'm looking forward to hosting again next year. And stay tuned. I have a lot of new content coming. Thanks.